Could it have been that long ago when this franchise rose from the desert? The stars of today were only 10 when the Diamondbacks began. Over the years, we've enjoyed steals and cycles, looked at the little and the big, collected a penny and a buck, seen junior and senior, lion and lamb, aging, JJ, BB, and Q. Today, the Diamondbacks battle the Reds, followed by the 4th annual alumni game. For a moment, President Past, R1. Could it have been that long ago?
The purple is back in place today on a Sunday afternoon here in downtown Phoenix. Diamondbacks greats of the past, one night after Randy Johnson's number was retired. With us here today, our 4th annual alumni game presented by Sanderson Ford. Before Team Gonzo takes on Team Gracie, it's the series finale, the Reds and the Diamondbacks, here on Fox Sports Arizona. And good afternoon from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly along the way. The rubber game and series finale against the Reds. A chance for Patrick Corbin to get out there on the mound today, Bob, and erase a very brief outing and a bad memory from his last start at Nationals Park.
Yeah, I think we're a little spoiled by what Patrick Corbin was able to do before the Tommy John surgery, and we've seen glimpses of that since he's been back. But the reality is this guy hasn't pitched for a year and a half. He needs to build up his arm strength, and with that arm strength will come more consistency. And once we get Patrick to that point, he will be his old self.
And you can see outstanding lately before that, the 10 strikeout game here against Milwaukee. He outdueled King Felix Hernandez at Safeco Field, but suddenly recorded only 4 outs his last time out against the Nationals. It's Anthony DeSclafani, the good right-hander, a rookie pitcher on the mound for the Reds, set to take the series. It's the Diamondbacks and the Reds on Fox Sports Arizona. First pitch coming up.
see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Or say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Another celebratory atmosphere in the ballpark today. The Diamondbacks and Reds, the final and deciding game of this three-game series as the Diamondbacks honor their past this weekend, set to take on a Reds bunch that's 10 under 500 and 21 games back of the Cardinals in the NL Central. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Patrick Corbin, making his 7th start in his return from Tommy John surgery, and today trying to bounce back from a rough outing in Washington when he recorded only 4 outs.
You know, maybe the good thing about it is the lack of pitches, the lack of up and downs he had to throw. Maybe that'll help him. It's almost like skipping a turn for him. So maybe it'll be a little crisper with his stuff.
And Bob, that's something Chip Hale talks about all the time, the up and downs, the back and forth out there to the mound for an inning and then back up and down from the bench all afternoon.
Yeah, coming back from the Tommy John surgery, you wonder what toll that eventually takes on a guy like Patrick Corbin. Really, his last time out was all about the Washington Nationals ambushing him in that first inning. He was just trying to establish the strike zone, and Yunel Escobar took him deep, first batter of the game, then gave up a single, a double, a single, later in the inning, a walk, and another single, all in the first inning.
Billy Hamilton back in the leadoff spot, and there's a strike. Vic Carapazza, our plate umpire, and the corners are in. Jake Lamb at third, and Paul Goldschmidt at first, with Hamilton in there at .220 and 3 home runs. And leading the majors with 51 stolen bases. And Corbin jumps ahead 1-2. Hamilton has yet to steal a base against the Diamondbacks in this series. He is 1 for 7 with a single and a pair of strikeouts.
Reds team just beginning a long road trip. Stop here in Arizona. They head on to San Diego after today's ball game and then finish it up with 4 at Dodger Stadium as Patrick Corbin gets it underway by punching out Billy Hamilton.
The lineup for Brian Price and his Cincinnati Reds.
Second baseman.
Billy Hamilton a lot slower walking back to the bench than he is when he gets on base. He'll be out in center field. Brandon Phillips at second base. Joey Votto at first. Marlon Byrd out in left field. Jay Bruce in right field. Eugenio Suarez at shortstop today. Ivan DeJesus Jr. at third. Tucker Barnhart once again doing the catching for Anthony DeSclafani.
Nailed it.
Get it right. I had it right earlier. Jeez, when the lights are on.
Todd Frazier getting the day off today. Here's Brandon Phillips. 284 and 8 home runs. Phillips 0 for 4 in the series opener, but a pair of hits last night, including his 8th home run off Robbie Ray. Over Corbin's head, here comes Nick Ahmed. Take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively around their left-hander.
Peralta, Pollock, Inciarte left to right across the outfield today. Jake Lamb will be at third base. Nick Ahmed at short. With Chris Owings at second base, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching today for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
And the D-back defensively go into the overshift. They overload the right-hand side against Joey Votto. Jake Lamb right in front of second base umpire Brian Knight, the third baseman. There's ball 1. Votto 306 and 19 homers. He has just 1 hit in the series. That was a double on Friday night. And Joey here last night 0 for 4, a couple of strikeouts. One and 2. The best hitter in baseball the second half of the year, batting about .440 since the All-Star break. And that's a stretch of now 21 games during which he's put up an on-base percentage of .615. He's leading the major leagues in walks. He's walked twice in the series so far.
Not a whole lot of downside to getting on base at better than 60% of the time, other than it takes a lot out of a guy that's an everyday player like Joey Votto. When you're on base 6 times out of every 10 at bats, you're running the bases, you're sliding, breaking up double plays. At some point, getting on base that often can be detrimental physically.
Well, he's worked it full here. Votto says he believes he could lead the National League in home runs, but he thinks if he did, those 400 on base percentages and the 300 batting averages, those would go away, he says. He doesn't think that style of hitting is sustainable for him. And he says it's proven his skill set is not as a 35 to 40 home run guy. Bounces this to Goldie. A nice tidy 1-2-3 first for Patrick Corbin on Alumni Day here at Chase Field. Diamondbacks coming up. under 500 and just 8 games out of a National League wild card spot. And on the mound for the Reds, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, I guess the veteran of this all-rookie Reds rotation, a promising right-hander who's looked good this year. 22nd start for Anthony DeSclafani.
He's really been quite the road warrior this year for the Reds. ERA of 2.4 on the road, 5.4 at home. We're told that's because of a couple of bad starts that really blew up his numbers at Great American Ballpark. Basically a sinker slider guy. He does have a curve and a changeup he'll mix in second and third time through the order.
It's a good hard slider too. It's a pretty good pitch for him. Ender Inciarte fouls that one back here. Quickly 0-1 on Ender. Ender's got 3 hits in the series. He's now hit safely in 6 straight games. .296 and 3 home runs.
There's the slider right there. Has a lot of downward movement. Some guys' sliders stay very flat, move horizontally across the strike zone. Other guys have a little downward tilt. DeSclafani has a real downer of a slider. Almost looks like a curveball.
Rolls it to second. Brandon Phillips has it 1 away. The lineup for Chip Hale's Arizona Diamondbacks. We're in the purple on Alumni Day here.
Love the purple. Ender Inciarte out in right field this afternoon. A.J. Pollock in center. Paul Goldschmidt at first base with David Peralta in left field. Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching. Jake Lamb at third. Chris Owings at second. Nick Ahmed at short. And Patrick Corbin on the mound.
A.J. Pollock. Swings at the first pitch. A little flare into right. It drops in for a base hit. AJ's had a good series, and he's on board with 1 out for Goldie. Take a look at the Reds defensively around Anthony DeSclafani, their rookie right-hander.
Same outfield we've seen the first couple games of this series. Marlon Byrd in left, Billy Hamilton in center, Jay Bruce over in right field, Ivan DeJesus Jr. at third. Suarez at short has had a nice series swinging the bat. Brandon Phillips over at second base. Joey Votto at first base. Tucker Barnhart doing the catching for Anthony DeSclafani.
AJ at first, 1 out. Here's Goldie. He does not have a hit in this series. He has struck out 3 times. Paul Goldschmidt, .332 and 22 home runs. Goldie 3 for 27 in August so far with 1 RBI, and he has now gone without a base hit in 6 of his 7 games this month, and he has struck out 12 times in 27 August at bats. And the thing about that is it comes immediately following, Bob, that 12-game hitting streak where it looked like he was back in business, but August has not been kind to Goldie so far.
That's baseball. Goldie's not immune to those ups and downs either. The good thing for Paul Goldschmidt throughout his career, the downs have lasted very shortly, and the long good stretches have overpowered those bad stretches.
He's ahead 2-0 off the fist, and that's in the seats. Yeah, he goes longer than 2 games without a hit. You start panicking. What's going on here? But they couldn't get to the Reds pitching staff last night, and Chip Hale said after the loss last night, look, Goldie can't always be the guy to save us. He said the Diamondbacks always sort of count on him to be that guy, and it's just not that easy to do it all the time.
Baseball is hard.
This just in.
And Chip was talking this morning too about seeing pitchers you're not familiar with. Now DeSclafani, they do have some video scouting on him from pitching for the Marlins last year, so maybe a little better idea of what to expect today than they saw in the first 2 games of this series. Basically guys they had never seen before and probably didn't have a lot of advanced scouting on.
And DeSclafani pitched in 13 games of the Marlins last year. That was his first experience in the big leagues. And Miami traded him to the Reds in December in the Matt Latos deal. 2-1 to Goldie. There goes AJ. Got a big jump. And there is no throw. Barnhart can't corral it. And A.J. Pollock has stolen base number 25.
Number 97 on the season for the Diamondbacks, rapidly sneaking up on the Reds. Once again, that jump where you just take off before the pitcher even throws the ball to home plate. Apparently, Dave McKay has discerned something from the pitcher's delivery. Great jump that time by A.J.
And a 2-2 count on Goldie. Winds it toward the left field corner. Here comes A.J. 1-0 Diamondbacks. An RBI double for Paul Goldschmidt. That's double number 25 for Goldie. Like we said, he's really struggling.
Ringing line drive down into that left field corner that time by Goldie. Diamondbacks scored first in the ball game yesterday as well. Looked like a slider that just didn't take much of a break. Stayed on that inside part of the plate, and Goldie's able to keep it fair down into the corner for an RBI base hit. I mentioned the stolen bases. Diamondbacks now with 97 after A.J. nabbed second base right there. The Reds lead the National League with 102.
And Billy Hamilton has 51 of those 102, exactly half. Here's Peralta. Big off-balance swing from David that time, and he's down 0-1. Peralta 282 and 10 homers. And if the current streak continues, he will have an RBI single right here. He has RBI singles in the first inning in both of the first two games of this series. But he's down quickly 0-2.
And Goldie continues his domination of the first inning of ball games, hitting close to 400 now with 13 extra base hits and 22 runs driven in the first inning.
And that RBI double broke an 0-for-8 streak with runners in scoring position for Goldie. Laces it toward left center. They're going to stop Goldschmidt at third. 3 straight hits for the Diamondbacks against Anthony DeSclafani. Hit too hard really to send Goldie, and you've got Salty coming up.
Normally you would try to take liberties on Marlon Byrd's arm out there in left field. Doesn't have a strong throwing arm, but Goldie had to hold up ever so slightly out there at second to make sure that ball got down, and by the time he gets his momentum going, Andy Green has to throw up the stop sign at third.
So they're on the corners with 1 out for Jared Saltalamacchia. Salty 176 and 3 home runs.
Jared Saltalamacchia got a pinch hit at bat in the 9th against Aroldis Chapman yesterday, and you know, gallows humor the way it can be. He struck out against Chapman, but did have a pretty good at bat. Fouled off a couple of 102-mile-an-hour fastballs straight back to the backstop. Laid off some tough borderline pitches.
And he's had a lot of good at bats lately, Bob. A whole bunch of RBI hits. Had a home run Thursday in Washington. He's been a much more productive guy up there at the plate lately.
Well, he seems to give you a good at bat. Doesn't always get the positive result you're looking for, but he forces that pitcher to throw a number of pitches, and runners in scoring position. He's 3 for his last 4.
Salty has hit safely in 4 of his last 6 games. He's got 4 RBIs over that span. But he's down 0-2. Missed inside there, a ball and 2 strikes.
But Salty was telling his teammates, hey, I want you to come to the video room. Look at this at bat. He says, I scared him right off his fastball.
Chapman was throwing 101 and 102 for an entire inning last night. Pretty dominant. A rough first so far here for the rookie Anthony DeSclafani in his 22nd start this year. Marlins minor league pitcher of the year just 2 seasons ago, and figures to be a fixture in the Cincinnati rotation moving forward.
The story about Salty speaks to how good Aroldis Chapman is, that guys want to call teammates in to look at a strikeout because you felt like you had a good at bat against him. That's how good Aroldis Chapman is.
Just missed on the inner half there, and it's 2-2. Yeah, come watch this guy strike me out. Wait, what? 2-2 pitch. And another good at bat going right here. Day game after a night game, so a day off for Beef Wellington Castillo. But he's the secret weapon today. 7 home runs in his last 11 games. He wins the war. 95 on the fastball, strikes out Saltalamacchia, and that's the second out here in the first.
Well, with an early run for the D-backs, we better get this in quickly. Anytime the Diamondbacks score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
A chance for Jake Lamb now. Paul Goldschmidt at third, David Peralta at first. 2 outs and 1 run in. Jake at 284 and 4 homers. He looks good in purple. Ball 1. Jake Lamb 1 for 5 in the series, and a base hit and a walk last night. A look down to Andy Green at third. It's now been exactly 50 games since Jake Lamb came back from the DL. He was out around 7 weeks with that left foot injury. Went down the middle of April, came back first week of June, and since he's come back from the DL, Jake's hit 262. Soft fly out to short left field. Marlon Bird. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 1. As we celebrate D-backs past and present, it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Fans rowing in the left field, tickets to millions.
We'll all be back at Chase Field next season, and you need to be here with us as well. So purchase a 28-game half or a full season ticket, and you'll get the best seats at the best prices. You'll get a season ticket discount. So all kinds of questions for you to be answered there on the website, dbacks.com/tickets. We have our season ticket holder, the center right here at the ballpark. Go to dbacks.com/tickets for all the info. Marlon Byrd, who homered last night, leads off the second against Patrick Corbin. 245 and now 19 homers. He was 2 for 4 last night. Slow roller, one and short. We're up 4 down for Corbin.
After putting that ball on the ground early on, that's the second ground ball out already in the game out of 4. Like 2. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Joey Votto tapped to Goldie at first base. Always good to see Patrick throwing those ground balls.
He's got 3 ground ball outs and a strikeout so far. Here's Jay Bruce now. And the Diamondbacks again going to the overshift. For Bruce, who does not have a hit in this series, he has struck out 5 times. In fact, he is 0 for his last 17 up there right now. 248 with 17 home runs. Three 3-0 so far. Bruce is being patient up there for a guy who strikes out a lot. Brian Price said, you know, when you look at Jay Bruce's numbers this year, you get a lukewarm reaction. Okay. And he's had a dig hole from which he's had to dig himself out of, and he drives this one to deep center. And A.J. Pollock runs it down. We're just talking about those ground ball outs, and Jay Bruce hits one about 405 feet.
And we've seen a lot of balls carry well to that particular area of the field. AJ tracking it all the way to the wall out there just to the left of straightaway center. Needs every bit of that glove as he caught that one right in the heel of the mitt.
So 2 down for Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop, who's had a nice series here. Suarez has got 3 hits. He hit his 6th home run last night. Now with 306 on the year. Tell you what, Zach Cozart, he might be getting Wally pipped here. They lost Cozart June 10th. He blew out his right knee. They had acquired Suarez from the Tigers in the offseason. They called him up. He started at shortstop the next day. And he did a good job for the Reds this year. And the sample size is getting big enough where you start to go,
He showed some surprising power. A 2-run home run in the 4th inning yesterday. One of the few bad pitches that Robbie Ray made all afternoon, and Suarez hit it out of the ballpark.
And Suarez just turned 24 years old last month. They picked him up from the Tigers in October for pitcher Alfredo Simon. He played his first 2.5 months this year at AAA, and he's done a good job for the Reds. 2-2. Got him. 93 right by him. Second strikeout for Corbin, who's retired all 6 he's faced. He gets Eugenio Suarez. He's got a 1-0 lead. us your best fan photo. Use the hashtag AZDataStrongFan, and maybe you'll see your picture in our Diamondbacks broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. And apparently that young man is named O-Dog. Kind of a different way to go, but I like it. Little O-Dog in the house. 1-0 Diamondbacks as Chris Owings leads off the second.
No, the real O-Dog was here early this morning playing catch with Mike Fetters. He's been working out here at the ballpark for a couple of days in preparation for the big alumni game this afternoon.
For which you will serve as Commissioner Emeritus.
Absolutely.
I want no trouble down there.
No, and once again, I will be very upfront. I will move from dugout to dugout depending on who has the lead in the ball game.
So you're basically like the dinger of alumni game commissioners.
A lot like that.
You're wearing purple.
Wearing purple.
You're showing up a big front runner.
Yep.
All right. As long as you're open about it. See, Dinger, you know, he won't admit it, but we broke that story a long time ago. And there is. Everybody's here. Reggie Sanders, Brandon Webb. That's the place to be. The suites up there. There's Chris Snyder. CO shoots another one foul down the right field line. Chris 0 for 4 in the series. He's at 227 on the year. You've already had to step in during the draft, so tensions are already running high after, you know, the stunt that Gonzo tried to pull. Broken bat, Roller Votto has it. Trying to draft Mike Fetters. I mean,
he just didn't want to face him.
Yeah,
so I had to step in, and for the good of the game and the drama of the alumni game, I had to force Mike Fetters to the other team.
It's always good to see you enforce that for the good of the game clause.
Our Valley Honda keys to the game today. Hey, welcome them back. Bunch of old timers up there, all arthritic and broken fingers and bent knees. They need your support today. And for the team on the field right now, win a series. That is always the goal for good teams, bad teams, all teams. Try to win series.
Reggie Sanders taking some pictures there. Nick Ahmed. To Hopper, right to Suarez. 2 down.
The reality of this game, I've said it many times. There's some players on the other team that are pretty good, and they're getting paid a lot of money to go out there and beat you. So some days the other team's just a little better, but if you can take 2 out of 3 every series, you're going to like where you're at the end of the year.
And we'll see these Reds again on our next road trip. The Phillies are in for 3 starting tomorrow, and then it's off again on another long one. We go to Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. Patrick Corbin 0 for 5 this year.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Check swing foul.
Get off me, ball. Kind of a self-defense swing. That pitch just continued to keep running inside on Patrick Corbin. Unorthodox check swing.
Well, he's had a good at bat here. He's worked the count full 3-2 with 2 outs. Ender and Ciarte would be next. Bowing.
Patrick Corbin has that kind of swing that, you know, the right matchup, a right pitch location. I can see Patrick hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
He tried.
He tried.
DeSclafani creeping up on 40 pitches through the first 2 innings here.
If the opposing pitcher happens to hit his bat at just the right time, it might leave.
Nice. They walked the pitcher with 2 outs. Well, DeSclafani, now Corbin battled him there. He fouled off some good pitches, but DeSclafani will occasionally lose the strike zone. He has walked 3 or more batters in a ball game 7 times in his 21 starts this year. And he's averaging about 3.5 walks for every 9 innings pitched. So a chance for Ender Inciarte, who grounded out his first time up. Chopper right to Phillips. Double pass for the force on Corbin, and that's the inning. Through 2, D-backs lead it 1-0. Excited to introduce to you brand new Pepsi Limon. It's made with just a hint of real lime juice, a little bit of lime, a whole lot of flavor. Pepsi Limon. Pick up yours today. Now available at local retailers. Got the Randy Johnson 51 t-shirt that they handed out to the ballpark here last night. Patrick Corbin so far 6 up, 6 down, 2 strikeouts, and Ivan DeJesus Jr. will lead off the 3rd for the Reds. And Robbie Ray and Patrick Corbin pitching the final 2 games against Cincinnati here this weekend, and that means back-to-back lefties in Chip Hale's rotation. So after this series, the Diamondbacks are likely to shuffle things a bit here, and they are really looking at cases like Chase Anderson's, where young guys have thrown a lot of innings and might need a break. They also want to avoid Patrick pitching every 5th day, every start, coming off Tommy John. The occasional extra day might be nice for him, and so with an off day on Thursday before another long road trip starts in Atlanta, they'll likely use that day to split up the 2 lefties, Ray and Corbin, Bob, so they're not back to back.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and you know, the more we talk about it and trying to limit the innings for some of these young pitchers, try to avoid injury or overtaxation late in the season, it just seems like that 6-man rotation becomes more and more of a possibility.
Just off of the glove of Jake Lamb, a base hit for DeJesus, and that's the first base runner for the Reds to lead off the 3rd.
I know a lot of managers and pitching coaches don't like to talk about it. General managers don't want to refer to that 6-man rotation, but there was a time in this game when every team had a 4-man rotation, and suddenly yeah, it seems like maybe we'll stick another guy in that rotation, stretch these guys out a little bit, give them a little bit more of a breather, and it ended up being the norm. So I don't think it's a far stretch to think that we may see the 6-man rotation as the norm at some point in the near future for a lot of teams.
Now we hear more and more other teams talking about it. The Mets tried it with all their young starters, and the New York media went crazy, and Terry Collins was so tired of answering questions about it, he pulled the plug on the 6-man rotation less than 1 turn through it, and now they're talking about doing that again. They have guys like, you know, coming off Tommy John, like Matt Harvey, and some guys like Syndergaard and others they want to protect. And they talked about it in Houston while we were there as well. Tucker Barnhart now. Double play possibility here. Owens on and go there. That's 5 ground ball outs for Patrick Corbin. That'll work.
Kind of a tweener right there. Chris Owens could have taken one more step and gotten the out himself at second base, but Nick Ahmed had his momentum coming right toward the bag. An easy double play turn.
So 2 down now for Anthony DeSclafani, the pitcher from Colts Neck, New Jersey. He was a Florida Gator pitch there in Gainesville, and originally a Blue Jays 6th round pick in the draft 4 years ago. He was traded to Miami when those 2 organizations made that big deal a few years ago, and dealt to the Reds last winter for Matt Latos, and here he is. One and 2. Well, a double play ball and a strikeout for Patrick Corbin. He's punched out 3 and he's got a 1-0 lead. Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Boys and Girls Clubs, help young people reach their full potential through programs that promote character and leadership. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Bottom third, Diamondbacks lead the Reds 1-0. 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Pollock, Goldsmith, and Peralta against Anthony DeSclafani, the rookie right-hander, who pitches in one of the best hitters' parks in baseball, Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And when you look at some of the numbers for DeSclafani this year, you can see that pitching in that ballpark is no picnic. He has struggled at home and done very well on the road. And that worked to A.J. Pollock, who singled, stole a base, and scored a run in his first at bat. A home ERA near 5.5, which dropped to under 2.5 on the road. And opponents hitting only .202 against him when he's pitching in road games this year. That batting average at Great American Ballpark is .313. That's a tough place to make a living as a pitcher.
Oh, absolutely. But the reason the Reds like DeSclafani so much, that sinker slider combination, everything moving down, they'd like to believe that he can keep the ball out of the air for the most part in that ballpark.
Oh, DeJesus! What a play! Ivan DeJesus Jr., just like Dad used to do at shortstop for the Cubs and Phillies for all those years.
A quick recovery after leaving his feet to dive for that ball. He quickly gets up, unloads in a hurry to first base. He knows A.J. Pollock can scoop down that line, and they get him by a good 2 steps down there at first base. What a play.
And here's Goldie, an RBI double his first time up. He's tied Matt Williams on the all-time list.
That RBI double back in the first inning tied him with current Nationals manager Matt Williams.
And that was Goldie's just his second RBI this month. Gonzo hobnobbing with all the alumni. Shot right over the head. The first base umpire Adam Homari down there, but ably picked up by Ron Pennington. Well, maybe less than ably. There's Ron, our Golden Glover down the right field line.
That away, Ron.
We have, in a sense, our alumni Golden Glovers because we've got the man, Sid Doc Rosenblatt, manning the left field line. 1-2 on Goldie.
There's a rumor out there. Now, it's just a rumor, but they're talking about possibly having an award for the best Golden Glover at the end of the season and calling it a Rosen Glove. You know, like the players win a Rawlings Gold Glove for defensive excellence during the season. I earned my first Rosenblatt this year.
Well, now that they've torn down Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, that makes even more sense. Now, who would serve on the committee? I know you're on a number of committees already.
I can't chair any more committees.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Your schedule is full. Goldie blasts one deep to right center field. Hamilton's over there to get it, and he's got his second double today.
Watch out.
Just said it last night, Bob. We haven't seen him drive one out there like we're so used to doing. It has been a while.
Watch out. Paul Goldschmidt ripped the double down in the left field corner. His first at bat, takes a pitch up and away from him and drives it to that gap in right center field. Those advanced scouts sitting down behind home plate with the stopwatches and the radar guns and the notepads. The reports just changed.
When he's hitting balls like the one you just saw, that's the sign. David Peralta single his first at bat. There goes Goldie. The throw from Barnhart is in time. It beat him. Goldie caught stealing for just the 5th time all year.
Not the greatest of jumps out there at second base. Good intentions, good aggressiveness, but Goldie kind of got caught in midair. His feet weren't down on the ground as DeSclafani delivered that ball. We've seen Barnhart with a strong arm in this series. And with a left-handed batter at the plate, that's just a clear throwing lane for the Reds catcher.
Off the fist. Suarez can't get it. It drops in. Peralta 2 for 2. When you're going to be aggressive like this, and the Diamondbacks have played this way on the bases since the first day of spring training, occasionally it will come back and bite you. But that's just the cost of doing business like that. 2 down for Salty. 50 pitches for DeSclafani, 36 strikes.
The Diamondbacks have been very aggressive not only at second base but at third base. Only the Reds have more steals of third this season. They've done it 30 times. Billy Hamilton has 16 of those. Diamondbacks have 20 steals at third base. I mean, Billy Hamilton has more than the third place team in the National League. The Cubs have 12.
Every Reds stolen base stat so far, Billy Hamilton has half.
Yep.
There he is, the pride of Taylorsville, Mississippi. Dan Mullen, the Mississippi State football coach, was telling me about recruiting Billy Hamilton, trying to sign him as a punt returner and a wide receiver for Mississippi State. And He said when he went to recruit him, he was playing a basketball game. Hamilton that night when Dan showed up scored 50 points. And Dan said, I was just in awe of the athleticism.
I would venture a guess that a lot of them were fast break layups.
Right, just run down the other end.
Who's going to catch him? Yeah. Even dribbling a basketball, he's probably faster than everybody else on the court.
Came up as a right-hand hitting shortstop. Now he's a switch hitting center fielder. So it's been something of a crash course. Salty strikes out on the 2-2 pitch. Diamondbacks get 2 hits in the inning but cannot get a run across. But they lead it 1-0 after 3.
Baseball birthdays on August 9th. Ralph Houck in 1919. Julian Javier in 36. Claude Osteen in 39. Tommy Agee, the Mets great, in 1942. And Troy Percival, big hard-throwing closer, was born in 1969.
Ralph Houck, the major.
Yeah. A couple others that didn't make the list. Matt Morris, Ted Simmons. A couple of my favorites. Kid Butler. That's a good name. Kid Butler.
He was a featherweight, wasn't he?
And then Highball Wilson had nothing to do with where he threw his pitches. It was everything about his beverage of choice after the ball.
Be in the saloon on the corner after the game. 100 years young, life is good. Well, why not? You're at the ballpark. And Billy Hamilton knocks that in the seat.
And we can't let this one go. In 1944, on this day, Smokey the Bear was born. Named after a New York City fireman, Smokey Joe Martin.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
That's right. Smokey the Bear. Howling and a growling and a sniff in the air.
Billy Hamilton sends this out to left. And one hops the wall. A ground rule double for Billy Hamilton. That's his 7th double this year. Just the 2nd hit for the Reds against Patrick Corbin.
We just told you a moment ago, Billy Hamilton has stolen third base 16 times already among his 51 steals this year. So keep an eye on him back there.
Well, no major leaguer has stolen at least 80 bases in a season since 1988. Rickey Henderson and Vince Coleman both did it that year. And everybody figures Billy Hamilton, if he could just get on base enough, would easily get 80. But that low on base percentage is still a problem. And he's at second to lead off the 4th. Here's Brandon Phillips, who's 0 for 1. Something about that 80 number too. The Reds record for stolen bases in a season is 81. That was set in 1911. Speaking about baseball history, Bob Bescher, the pride of London, Ohio, stole 81 bases for the Red Legs in 1911. Boy, Billy Hamilton is really dancing around a lot back there.
He just, especially at second base when there's no defender standing right on the bag, he tries to time that delivery, make sure his momentum is moving forward, but he does it like a water bug. I mean, he's so quick.
It's got to be especially problematic for a left-hander out there like Corbin. Phillips pops up the bunt attempt. .51 for 58 this year. And for Hamilton, he's only got one extra base hit since July 22nd, which was 52 plate appearances ago. So it's been a struggle to get on base and get extra base hits.
Pay attention to him, but don't let him be a distraction. Ultimately, Patrick Corbin has to focus on that pitch to home plate. Ideally, a pitcher can separate the two. You check the runner, you pick up your target at home plate, maybe one last check of the runner, and then quickly deliver the ball to home plate.
And Hamilton has had a much higher success rate in his stolen base attempts this year. Become a much better base runner. Hamilton said last year he would just try and run on every pitch. He was going. Didn't care, situation, pitcher, none of it mattered. He was off. But now he says he's really started to read pitchers more and get a better sense of when to go, when not to go. Try and pick up little things. And as a result, he's had a much higher success rate. 1-2 on Brandon Phillips.
Certainly looks like he's making an effort to shoot that ball to the right side and advance Billy Hamilton on to third base. I'm sure Hamilton has the green light to run whenever he sees fit at any base.
Working hard to try and hit it to the right side. It sure looks like it. You're right. 1-2. Hamilton holds, and Phillips strikes out. Got all tied up inside that time. 4 strikeouts for Corbin.
Very nice job that time by Patrick and Jared Salta-Lamar. They could clearly see that Brandon Phillips was trying to inside out the ball the opposite way, so they just kept pitching him farther and farther inside. Very awkward looking swing right there for strike 3.
Now here comes a classic Joey Votto debate situation. You've got one out. You've got the major league walks leader up there, a guy that has really changed who he is from a big run producer RBI type guy to a walks and on base percentage type guy. He's hitting third in the order, and he's got the tying run at second. Now in most situations, most guys like this, wouldn't they, I don't know, sort of give themselves up or swing at a borderline pitch, try and drive that run home?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a lot of run producers' history. Guys in the middle of the lineup in RBI situations, they will expand their own strike zone to try to drive that runner in from second base, but Joey Votto just refuses.
And as a result, that RBI total, I mean, it's fine, it's 51, but he's capable of a lot more than that, and that's been part of the debate.
You know, and it wasn't as much of a factor in the first half of the season when Todd Frazier was Todd Frazier, swinging the bat the way they expected him to, but when you don't have another run producer hitting behind you in the lineup, a lot of teams are either going to pitch around Votto, knowing he'll take the base on balls, and take their chances with whoever happens to be hitting behind him in the lineup.
Comment right behind Hamilton, who holds at second. Corbin misses away, and Votto, who's not swinging if it's not a strike, is ahead 2-0. Well, he's twice been a 100 RBI guy, and he's been a big power hitter. Had a 37 home run season, but the RBIs have gone away the last 4 years, and he's taken his share of heat for that. And this is one of those situations. Inside strike call there from Vic Carapazza. It's 2-1. Boy, Joey Votto backing out Long pause there, which is not supposed to happen after a called strike. Doesn't look like he was too happy about that call, but Fox Track shows it was a good pitch.
He'll get a sternly worded memo from MLB.
Tried to go inside again, but missed, and now Votto's ahead 3-1. Quite a contrast in the two at bats. We saw Phillips, who busted a gut trying to hit it to the right side to move Hamilton over. He wound up striking out. Here's Votto, who's not sniffing anything. That's not a strike, and he's ahead 3-1. But Hamilton is still at second base. Woo. 3-2. Marlon Byrd on deck. Votto hits left-handers. He's batting an even .300 versus left-hand pitching this year. Hamilton holds again, and Joey Votto takes his walk. That's a classic case study of the debate right there.
Left fielder Marlon Byrd.
He got his walk. He's on base, but that tying run is still at second, and it's still 1-0 Diamondbacks. Now, if Marlon Byrd comes up and hits a 3-run homer, good job, Joey Votto. If not, if he hits into a double play, you have a different discussion.
I think the problem for a lot of Reds fans is the money that they're paying Joey Votto and the years that they gave him. They expect this guy to go up there and try to drive in every runner that's on base. You make that kind of money to be a run producer, produce some runs.
That is definitely part of the discussion. There's no doubt about that. Joey Votto signed a 10-year, $225 million contract at the start of the 2012 season. So he's about to cost them between $22 and $25 million through 2023, and he's up there taking his walks.
Playing half his games in a ballpark that you could blow a baseball off the palm of your hand over the center field fence.
I mean, he's an immense talent. That's just beyond debate. But how to apply that talent is an ongoing discussion between. And it's funny because it sort of divides camps. You've got the old school drive him in, RBI, move the runner along guy. You've got the new school sabermetric, get on base, take your walks kind of guy. And this guy just personifies in many ways that debate.
Yeah, he finally took his helmet off. I've been trying to think of who he reminds me of with his head shaved.
Uh-oh.
Crazy Britney. You remember when Britney Spears was beating on cars with umbrellas and shaved her head?
So I must have missed that. I don't know how I did. But.
Yeah, that's what it looks like when Britney shaved her head.
Oh, that was she was on like the cover of People magazine every week.
Yeah.
This is what Britney's done now. She's out of control.
Yeah, walking barefoot in gas station restrooms and beating on cars with umbrellas. And at one point she shaved her head.
I think that's the first Joey Votto Britney Spears comp we've had.
Probably, yeah.
But that's the kind of insight that's you
and
get
she
here.
won't go out of the strike zone either.
Well, I've heard that. Well, Patrick having problems finding the strike zone. He's behind on Marlon Byrd 3-1. Somewhere Brian Kenny's head just exploded.
Hi!
Thank you, Harry. Hamilton at second, Votto at first. 3-1 to Byrd. Drives it to center. And that's a base hit. Hamilton will score easily here. The Reds tie the ball game.
Right fielder Jay Bruce.
And there are those that would say Joey Votto's willingness to take that walk and force Patrick Corbin to really work hard before the base on balls perhaps made him leave that ball over the middle of the plate to Marlon Byrd for an RBI single into center.
Mike Harkey has him visit. Yeah, the idea about the debate, Bob, as you mentioned, it's not that taking walks and having a high on-base percentage is a bad idea. It's a great idea, but when you're the 3-hole hitter making $225 million and you've got 51 RBIs, then people go, all right, what are we doing here? I just don't see the Britney Spears, though. That's
just the hair or lack thereof. He doesn't look like Britney at all, and she doesn't look like him, but the hairstyle, very similar.
It's a little Sinead
There you
O'Connor.
go.
Wow.
Hey, I'm telling you.
You nailed it. You nailed it. That is not a good look.
Oh, my.
That's a game face right there. Jay Bruce. Well, you were all over that one. Bruce flying out to center his first time. I was going to go Sinead O'Connor, but that's a little too old school. I wonder what was going on with Britney at that moment the photo was taken.
We can only speculate.
It's a little troubling. Oh, 0-2. Reaches out and rolls it into right. They'll stop Otto at third. The Reds have the bases loaded. That's the first hit in the series for Jay Bruce. They're loaded with one out for Eugenio Suarez.
Eugenio Suarez.
Bruce actually got fooled out in front of that pitch, just rolled over and found that hole through the shift on the right side of the infield to load him up.
And Suarez, 3 hits in the series. A homer last night. He struck out his first time up against Corbin to win the second. Bases loaded, 1 out, 1 run in. Joey Votto is the runner at third, Marlon Byrd at second, and Jay Bruce at first. Patrick's fallen behind 2-0.
Down in this situation. 1 out, bases loaded. You're looking for that ground ball. Hopefully your defense can turn 2 behind you. In his first at bat, Suarez swung at a high fastball for a strike 3. If you do get to the 2-strike count, you might see Patrick go back up to that high fastball.
A bouncer to land at third. Tough time getting it out of the glove. They'll only get 1 and Votto scores. 2-1 Cincinnati. Jake had some problems starting that thing, and CO didn't have any kind of a play at second.
Third baseman, Ivan De Jesus
Just
Jr.
couldn't find the grip. The ball kind of got buried down in the pocket of his glove. By the time he digs it out, Jay Bruce is right on top of Chris Owens at second base. CO kind of pump fakes to first to see if the runner would round third base too far, but let's put another run on the board on that RBI fielder's choice.
Ivan De Jesus Jr. singled his first time up.
That's one of those plays that won't go down as an error in the book because you cannot assume a double play, but it's pretty apparent that if Jake Lamb handles that ball cleanly, Diamondbacks have a real good chance of being out of the inning right now.
And instead, the inning continues. The Reds have the lead, and the Diamondbacks bullpen gets busy. With Patrick at 60 pitches. The 1-0 is in there, strike 1. Andrew Chafer, the left-hander. Sanderson-Ford bullpen gets busy in the 4th. One and two.
The run scored by Joey Votto. As you get a look at the pitch count by inning for Patrick Corbin, really laboring here in the 4th. The 60th run scored this year by Joey Votto, placing him 15th in the National League. You think about the low RBI total. We talked earlier about the low on-base percentage for Billy Hamilton. That could have a lot to do with his low RBI total as well.
Deep right center field. A.J. Pollock has it. And that's the end of the game. But the Reds get 2. They lead it 2-1.
Brought to you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter.
Alumni Day here in the Valley of the Sun. Chase Field, Luis Gonzalez, and a whole suite full of Diamondback greats, past and present. The alumni game, overseen by Commissioner Brenly, follows our ball game here at Chase Field. As Jake Lamb leads off the 4th. The game is not televised, but the Governor, Greg Schulte, and I will call the 3 innings, and you can see that online later tonight. So that'll be available for you. DBacks.com. Jake Lamb 0 for 1. Phillips is on it. He's got some gold gloves in his back pocket, and that's why. I have seen, well, here's the picture, in fact. Now, have you approved this?
This is my first look at it, so I'll peruse it for a moment.
I can see Gonzalez put himself in the 3-hole.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't play if he didn't hit 3rd, so he had to accommodate Gonzo.
Well, Gracie did the same thing for his team.
Yes, that's true. It looks clean.
So it's a Reynoso-Fetters pitching matchup going in. Here's Chris Owens.
And Fetters will face Gonzo in the 1st inning.
Well, there's been some debate about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Fetters on a very tight pitch count. I think it's actually a single-digit pitch count.
I see.
Which is a little small. Look at that, DeJesus. That was absolutely blistered down to 3rd. CO. A rocket right to Ivan DeJesus Jr. That's the second nice play he's made down there.
Quick hands down there for DeJesus Jr. That ball got on him in a flash. Oh, barely time to react. Just a little bit of a lean to his right. to the knee. Nice play.
Allowed out number 2. Here's Nick Ahmed. Nick 0 for 7 in the series so far. At the O-Dog leading off for Gonzo's team. I'm not sure that's fair because he was working with some of the Diamondbacks during spring training. Orlando Hudson. So he's a bit of a ringer. And Gonzo's put him in the leadoff spot. That's a good managing. Alex Cintrone. Gonzo batting third. Travis Lee was just in our booth, in the radio booth a moment ago. Reggie Sanders in the 5-hole. And Gracie has Andy Stankiewicz leading off. Stankiewicz, DeLucci, Grace 1 through 3. Jay Bell, the cleanup man. For Team Gracie. Turner Ward will play for Gracie's team. Teaching the current coaching staff, all in the family. Ahmed rolls a 2-out single into right.
Pitcher, Patrick Corbin.
Just out of his reach.
Here's Patrick Corbin.
Jake Lamb started this inning with a ground ball to Brandon Phillips. I want you to watch the end of the play. He makes a great diving stop right there. But now he acts like he's just bored to death. Oh, geez, I got to throw another one over to first base. It just looks so easy for Brandon Phillips sometimes that he's not challenged.
Well, when you get a couple of gold gloves.
Yeah, I guess so.
Highlight reels all the time. Oh, and 2 on Patrick. Ooh, just missed. Stays alive.
Good emergency swing, Patrick. Too close to take, but not really close enough to do much with it.
DeSclafani's got the lead now and trying to get through the 4th inning. He is unbeaten in his last 3 starts, Anthony DeSclafani. One and 2. DeSclafani worked 7 innings of 3-hit ball at St. Louis. That was 2 starts ago. And got the victory in a 1-0 Reds win at Busch Stadium. And then he beat the Cardinals again in his previous start. That was last Tuesday in Cincinnati. Had 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. And he punches out Patrick Corbin. 3rd strikeout for DeSclafani through 4. Diamondbacks trail at 2-1. is brought to you in part by Card Power from Arizona Federal Credit Union. Now that's the power of us. Oregano's Pizza Bistro, your neighborhood pizza joint. We are athletic supporters. And by Dollar Shave Club. Shave time, shave money.
And welcome back to Chase Field Alumni Weekend. The alumni game will happen after the game, but right now the guys are just enjoying themselves. Jody Jackson back alongside David DeLucci, who's with the Diamondbacks from 98 to 2003, and his daughter. And what is your name? Ruby. She did it well.
Yep, Ruby. She is a natural. She's got it in her genes. She can swing a bat too now.
Really?
Yeah. We won't see her tonight, but she can swing a bat. She's got good genetics in her.
Yeah. Is this one of the cool things about Alumni Weekend is not only catching up with the guys, but seeing the families as well?
Oh, it is. I mean, we practically grew up together. I see Travis Lee, and we were both young in our early 20s, and now we've got families, and it's just awesome. We spend so much time together in a clubhouse and on the field. We develop a bond for the rest of our lives, and now we can visit not only with the player, but their families.
Yeah, and you guys obviously got to spend some time here before you take the field later. I saw that you're batting second in the lineup, and you've been thinking about this now for a year, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, well, I tell everybody, last year I worked out, I got in shape, I took BP, grounded out to the pitcher 2 times, and this year I'm coming in without doing anything. So hopefully that being unprepared is going to help me better this year.
It's a better strategy, maybe. Just don't prepare at all. Now, of course, Bob Brenly is in the broadcast booth. Ruby's having fun. Do you have a message for Bob at all? He's up there right now. He's the commissioner of this whole ordeal.
He's commissioner. He's not managing a team.
No, your manager is Gonzo or Gracie. I have to tell you, I don't know which one. But
I was hoping BB would be the manager, so I could swing through another 3-0 take. Yeah, that was a good experience for me because I did hit it over the fence. Had I gotten out, it would not have been a good experience for me.
We're hoping maybe you get it past the pitcher tonight.
That's what my game plan is, just to hit it as far as I can and get it out of the infield. That's what I'm shooting for.
I've been asking the pitchers who the most dangerous hitter is. A lot of them are saying Reggie. Who do you think is maybe the most difficult pitcher to face of this group?
Armando is 92 years old, and he's still throwing in the Mexican League somewhere. So Armando's going to be tough. All those guys, don't let them fool you. They're in shape. They've been throwing bullpens.
I know Mo-Man has, too. We're looking at some great highlights and great memories. David, thanks for sharing. Thank you, Ruby, for being part of this as well.
So we said thank you. So play ball.
She is just adorable. Guys, we're having a lot of fun here.
Did you have fun when he sang swang through the 3-0 take?
Yeah, once it landed in the pool, I did. But
so he just had the green light from then on, right?
Yeah, I told that story earlier this year. Guys will either prove that they deserve the green light 3-0 or prove that they don't deserve it. And David, unfortunately, swung right through a 3-0 take sign, but he squared it up and hit it out in the pool. So after that, he had the green light on all 3-0 counts.
We'll see if Billy Hamilton has the green light to try and steal a 2-out base here. He's got the single, his second hit today. With Patrick Corbin now at 70 pitches. Hamilton at first, 2 outs for Brandon Phillips.
I'll say this about David DeLucci. There were at least 2 or 3 different times where we were ready to commit to David as our everyday outfielder, probably our everyday center fielder. And every time we would get to that point, he would come down with some kind of an injury, a diving catch, and he cranked his neck. Had to miss some time. And then Steve Finley would take off on one of his patented tears and hit 600 for a couple of weeks. And David couldn't get back in there, eventually get himself back into shape, start to play good again. All right, we're going to give the job to David DeLucci. And then he'd sprain his ankle sliding into second base. Just buzzard luck for David, but what a tremendous bench player he was for that 0-1 team.
Yeah, we got to spend some time with David during fantasy camp, taping a D-backs podcast episode, and he was just great to talk to. Wonderful guy. It was his first year as one of the coaches at fantasy camp. Along the right field line, a long run. Goldie's under it, and there's Chris Owings to track it down. They strand Hamilton at first base. Bottom 5 coming up. Diamondbacks trail it 2-1. put down the beverages and the chips and take a picture, and then it's time to start limbering up, stretching, thinking about a uniform.
I'll tell you another thing. You do not want to go to the restroom during the alumni game when Rubio Durazo is taking his at bat. That's a guy that can still hit.
Group photo. Kelly Stinnett in the middle there, standing up. 1-1 on Inciarte, who's 0 for 2 so far. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Reds 6-5, but they trail it 2-1. Ender's got a base hit. Good start here in the 5th. Ender Inciarte now with a 7-game hitting streak.
Waited nicely on that breaking ball, let it get deep into the hitting zone, and then ripped it into right field for that leadoff base hit. We saw A.J. Pollock back in that first inning get a ginormous jump at first base. See if Ender Inciarte can get the same kind of lead and jump and maybe get himself into scoring position quickly.
A.J. singled, stole a base, and scored the Diamondback run in the first. Came in on the Goldie double. They finally got everybody lined up. You need a wider lens these days. Rodrigo Lopez in the front row. Junior Spivey. Reggie Sanders in the middle. Andy Stankiewicz down the far end there on the left. Gonzo. There's always one guy that screws up the picture. Scalfani trying to preserve that 2-1 lead. He's at 75 pitches, 51 strikes. He's walked just 1, 3 strikeouts. Keep Ender close down there.
It's been a nice long run for A.J. Pollock in that 2 spot in the lineup where he's been much more effective this year, hitting in front of Paul Goldschmidt, usually behind Ender Inciarte. He's a .314 hitter. When in that 2 spot in the lineup, when leading off when Ender was on the disabled list, and at other times this season, he's hit .269.
And Chip Hill really likes AJ in the 2-hole.
He's a nice combination of tools. He can hit a ball out of the ballpark if the pitcher's paying too much attention to Ender on at first base over there. He can shoot that hole in the right side of the field. He can steal a base or score from first on an extra base hit on his own. His combination of skills really lends itself to that 2 spot in the lineup well.
And he's been an outstanding bat in this lineup lately, anywhere you put him, hitting .336 since July the 1st. And he's 1 for 2 so far today.
There was a time earlier this season, and we talked about it at the time. I thought maybe he should be hitting a little lower in the lineup because he was driving the ball, and at that time the Diamondbacks didn't really have a lot of run producers in the middle of the lineup.
Double play ball. Phillips, Suarez, and they turn it. Well, we started the year, and A.J. Pollock was Chip Hale's leadoff man. And he's been just about everywhere in the order since.
First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
That is such a dangerous play, and he makes it look so easy. That backhanded flip, always right on the money.
2 down for Goldie. A pair of doubles so far, 2 for 2. There's strike 1. And 2 doubles, one in the left field corner, the other out to right center.
And both pitches barreled up. I mean, making that good sound off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt again.
There is a different sound even from up here. There's no question about it. Oh, that was it. Oh, man. 3 for 3. So much for the slump. He'd gone without a hit in 6 of 7 games this month, but he's got 3 hits and 3 at bats. Take a listen.
Crisp precise sound that comes when you make perfect contact right on the sweet spot of the bat. Ripped it back up the middle of the field.
David Peralta 2 for 2. Couple of singles. Sclafani misses inside. It's 1-0. David drove in the Diamondbacks' only run last night in the 4-1 Reds win. Same sound. That's in the gap, and the freight train is on the tracks. Here we go. Here comes Goldie. This will tie the ball game, and the train's going to stop at second. We're all tied.
Contact swing this time from David Peralta, driving that ball into the gap in left center. Well, Goldie may not be the fastest runner on this D-backs team, but he's the best base runner. He turns those corners perfectly. He scored easily from first base on the double to the gap in left center.
Jared Saltalamacchia, chance to drive in a go-ahead run here with Peralta at second and 2 down. Salty has struck out twice.
As you know, partner, we keep track of everything in this game, and Paul Goldschmidt is now tied with Howie Kendrick. It's the 7th time this season he scored from first base on a double, which doesn't sound like that big of a deal unless you're the one trying to do it.
Salty gets this out to right. It drops in front of Bruce, and here comes Peralta. Here's the throw, and it's cut off. Salty will keep the Reds occupied while Peralta crosses with a go-ahead run. The RBI for Saltalamacchia. 2 big 2-out hits there for the D-backs, and they take a 3-2 lead. Race, our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. It took Mark Grace, Racing Gracie, 427 Legends races to finally win last night. And guess what? He's got 2 in a row. Tip of the cap, wag of the finger.
Just had to break the seal. He might not ever lose.
In the words of Chuck Drago, Racing Gracie like butter and jam. He's on a roll. And again, the victory lap. I'm worried he's going to get a big head over this. Joey Votto will lead off the 6th. Now 3-2 Diamondbacks. They've got 10 hits in the ball game, which speaks to the fine work of the assistant hitting coach along with Turner Ward. And with Votto up there, the Diamondbacks go into the overshift. Votto walked and scored his last time up. Strike 1. Patrick Corbin back out there for the 6th. He's got a 3-2 lead at 72 pitches, so he's in pretty good shape right now. He has walked 1 and struck out 5. Goldie, 1 away. Let's go to Todd, who's out there in the suites reporting on the alumni game. What's brewing out there, Todd?
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can, but welcome to Chris Snyder. You just had the team photo with family. Doesn't that sort of sum it all up here? This is a family affair, isn't it?
It definitely is. It's been a blast seeing guys we played with, everybody. There's just everybody up here having a great time and ready to get down on the field and play.
Tell us about when it came to an end for you, Chris, and were you okay with it? The end of your road as a professional baseball player.
I think when something that meaningful and that special comes to an end, it's going to be tough. But I knew my body let me know that it was time. I grinded as much as I could and pretty much left it all out there. And now it's time to catch up on the time I missed with the family.
You're catching today, though, right? There aren't many. You and Kelly Stinnett.
I've only counted 2 catchers, and there's 2 teams, so unless the bullpen catchers have it in their heart to stick around for us, I think we got it.
Final thought here. I'm sort of banging the drum here. I want to see Brandon Webb pitch at some point. You're closer to him than anybody. Can we start that movement, please?
I think he can. He's milked it for long enough. You know, I mean, it's time to come out. I think the level of competition out there, I think he would be fine.
Great way to put that. Enjoy it, Chris. It's great to see you again.
All right, Todd, take care, man.
Okay. I didn't say that. That was Chris Snyder. Steve and Bob, back to you.
I'd love to see Webby pitch again. That'd be great, but he can't even throw an eggplant, he says.
Well, he's had enough time to learn how to throw left-handed and pitch in these alumni games. I just think, he wants to leave well enough alone. Be the best pitching coach in the alumni game.
There is Webby. Chatting with Travis Lee on the right there. My concern, as always, with the alumni game is the consumption of beverages prior to the game. And it seems to be ongoing, and we're getting to the point where, 6th inning now. These guys are getting close.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
1-2. Dave Bruce right into the shift. A one-hopper right to Owings, and Patrick Corbin, with the help of some tremendous defensive play by Goldie at first there, is through 6 with a 3-2 lead. Farm report. No, look at AAA Reno. Big night for Peter O'Brien last night at Tacoma. 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. He's got 20 homers this year and 79 RBIs.
Solid numbers. I don't care what league you're playing in. If you're slugging over 500, you're doing a lot of things right.
Jake Lamb will lead off the 6th. Diamondbacks lead at 3-2. They had 4 hits in the 5th inning, so starting to get to the rookie right-hander, Anthony DeSclafani. Jake 0 for 2 and 1 for 7 in the series. DeSclafani last year pitched in the Arizona Fall League, so some baseball fans in the Valley may have seen him pitching for the Salt River Rafters last year. He made 6 starts. And 24 strikeouts and only 4 walks. Worked a lot there on his changeup. That's still a work in progress here. Still mostly fastball slider. That one is blasted right into the shift. Boy, that was barreled up, but Suarez was right there.
Second baseman.
Hit it any harder than that. Suarez goes down into a catcher stance to make the play on that one. Knocks him back into the outfield grass, but has time to recover and throw on to first for the out because the ball was hit so hard.
The 6-3 put out from the first base side of second. They take the shift off now for Chris Owings. Chip Hale told us recently Chris Owings been pressing up there, and there's been a level of frustration with Chris. And he's been in what Chip called an in-between phase, which sounds like a bad thing if you're a hitter, where he's swinging at breaking balls out of the strike zone, looking at fastballs that are in the strike zone. And the way Chip put it is he's seeing a lack of conviction right now on Chris's part at the plate with the pitch selection. And the in-between sounds like a tough place to be.
Yeah, real tough place to be.
That one the other way. Bases there, though. Back to Todd.
Hey, real quick, Steve, before these guys leave and get ready for the alumni game, Brett Prinz is here, one of my favorite people. Brett, I forgot, but after watching all day with RJ and the 20 strikeout game, you guys had to go out there and bail out Bob Renly because he yanked the guy with 20K. The bullpen had to come up big. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember coming in. I think I came in for 1 hitter, got an out real quick, and then I believe we went in the dugout and actually scored.
Is this the coolest thing, just to be back here, putting on a uniform in this stadium again, Brett? I know you've been around here before.
Yeah, it's great. You know, the memories, and you come back and you just get down there. And then you're just, you know, the sweat starts and you're just like, it's like it never went away. It's a lot of fun to be back and doing this.
Pitch to contact, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Bob, I just wanted, the bullpen got you out of that one. We'll send it back to you.
I don't want to tell anybody how to go about their business, but I don't think I would start a fight with the commissioner prior to the game.
Is Bud Wilkinson the commissioner? He was always the commissioner of the Battle of the Network Stars and Superstar. Is he still? I thought he left us.
Gabe Kaplan.
Oh, there you go.
Gabe Kaplan, what an athlete.
And Kyle Rote Jr. is probably going to win the whole thing.
He always did, right?
He did. I know. I don't know how that happened.
I miss Battle of the Network Stars.
Wasn't that the show where Joe Frazier jumped in the pool and went right to the bottom like a rock?
You know, Farrah Fawcett Majors would ride a bike around a running track at some high school somewhere, and that was weird.
That's a spectator sport.
I can't believe that's still not on. You're right. 1-2 on Ahmed. Battle of the Network Stars. Robert Wagner would always come on and climb over one of those 30-foot high walls with a rope and say, go ahead, try and knock this battery off my shoulder, I dare you. Nobody under 50 knows what we're talking about. That's all right.
Brett Prinz, unfortunately, his career was interrupted by a bad injury. He was on his way to being a really good late inning relief pitcher, whether it's a setup guy in the 8th or a closer in the 9th. He had one of those deliveries. His fastball would sit at 91, 92, had a little slider to go with it, but hitters just did not see him well. He didn't get hit hard very often. Went to Centennial High School over in Peoria. Also attended Phoenix College. There's Prinzy. Stephen Randolph, and of course Webby making the rounds, explaining to everybody why he's not going to pitch.
3-2 pitch. Jesus. Low throw, a nice scoop by Votto at first, and they get him. It's a 1-2-3-6. Diamondbacks lead at 3-2. Arizona is brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. And by Arizona Tire Pros, for the best selection of Continental and General brand tires. Visit your local Arizona Tire Pros location today. 7th inning, and for just the second time since he's come back from Tommy John surgery, left-hander Patrick Corbin pitches into the 7th. So far he's given up just 2 runs on 5 hits, a walk and 5 strikeouts, and Eugenio Suarez leads it off for Cincinnati. Patrick went 7 full July 24th here against the Brewers. That was the 10 strikeout game, but he lost that ball game. Milwaukee beat the Diamondbacks 2-1.
289 pitches in that game. He's up to 81 now on the ball game.
I would say mission accomplished in terms, Bob, of a bounce back start from the one last week at Nationals Park.
Oh, big time. And even a bounce back within this game.
This one's a tricky one. That's out there to right center. AJ can't get to it. Suarez hustling into second. He's in there with a double. Eugenio Suarez has had a very nice series here. Reds have the tying run in scoring position to lead off the 7th.
Which was actually on the inner part of the plate, and Suarez just kind of shot it out there to the gap in right center with that inside out swing. AJ throwing off balance, airmails everybody. Don't think they had a shot at him at second base anyway.
Bullpen busy for the Diamondbacks. Here's Ivan De Jesus Jr.
Well, you've got Patrick Corbin's spot due to lead off in the bottom half of the 7th, so any pitching change is either going to involve a double switch or bring in a guy just to get you out of the inning and then pinch hit for him.
Andrew Chafin, the left-hander. David Hernandez, who worked last night, the right-hander. De Jesus singled in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Fastball right by him at 92, 1-1. Ivan DeJesus Jr., originally a second-round pick by the Dodgers in the draft 10 years ago. He's played most of his career in the minor leagues, a .298 career hitter in the minors, almost no power here. He does have 4 home runs for the Reds this season. Spent his first 50 games this year at AAA Louisville. Hit over 300 there, but had only 12 extra base hits.
Fans watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Please visit MLB.TV for details.
Another 1-2 pitch. That's headed to deep center field. A.J. Pollock will have to play it off the wall. This will tie the ball game as Suarez comes in. Back-to-back doubles for the Reds to open up the 7th. It's 3-3. Chip Hale. He wants Chafin. You've got the catcher Barnhart coming up. He's a switch hitter. Pitcher spot is behind him, and we know Skip Schumacher is the #1 pinch hit choice coming off the bench. And so to perhaps counter that, we'll see the left-hander Chafin in what is now a 3-3 game back after this. Friendly committee. Well, a little romance here from Ivan. It's our AZ Data Strong fan photo of the game. Brought to you by T-Mobile. You old softy, you.
Hey, we lead the league in love.
I know Gonzo's busy with the alumni game. He's got a lot going on over there. So you actually did step in. Nice done. A D-back wedding theme.
What could I say? A softy at heart.
You are. Andrew Chafin now. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher. Steps in against the lefty Chafin. Barnhart is a switch hitter and not much of a hitter from the right-hand side, batting 120 there. DeJesus at second after his RBI double tied it. And with the pitcher spot Due up next, and the left-hander out there for the Diamondbacks. Todd Frazier, the home run derby champ, is in the on-deck circle. He would hit for DeSclafani. Barnhart this year over 280 from the left-hand side. That's where he's got all of his 3 homers, but only $120 as a right-hand hitter. Corners in for the Diamondbacks. Lamb and Goldie. Squares to bunt, pops it up. Jared Saltalamacchia with a tremendous leaping grab right in front of Frazier in the on-deck circle, and they get a big out number 1. How about that?
What a great play by Jared Saltalamacchia. That ball wasn't popped too high in the air. You could see his first movement was out toward fair territory, and then found the ball. Managed to get his glove underneath it with that diving catch. Nicely done.
They announced Frazier the right-hand hitter. Chip Hale, anticipating that, has had his righty David Hernandez warming up, and so that's it for Chafin, who gets the only man he faced. And Hernandez will come into the ball game back in a moment. On Fox Sports Arizona, brought to you by Sanderson Ford. How about that picture right there? Jared Saltalamacchia, what a play. Todd Frazier announced as the pinch hitter, and so Chip Hale has gone to his right-hander. It's David Hernandez, who gave up a Marlin Bird homer to lead off the 9th inning last night. And he's in there against another pretty good righty here in Frazier, the home run derby champ, who hits for DeSclafani. To Jesus, the go-ahead run at second, 1 out. Todd Frazier just under 260 on the year and 27 home runs. One single and 4 strikeouts in the series. He's been a big strikeout guy in the past, and he is sort of reverting to form here. 16 strikeouts in his last 11 games. Punched out twice last night. Two 2-0 now.
And normally you would say in this situation you don't really care if you walk Frazier because it sets up a potential inning-ending double play, but Billy Hamilton would be the hitter. That's going to have to be some kind of fast double play.
DeSclafani looking on. Another pop-up. How about Salty one more time? Gives this a look, but it's in the seats. Well, Frazier has really been slumping lately. Just one hit in the series, the single. Since July the 1st, he's hitting .189 with only 2 home runs. And Hamilton will be next.
Boy, if you just break it down to the month of August, which we're very early in the month still, but he's hitting .069 in the month of August.
And he says, to be honest, he's trying to figure it out. He's not sure what exactly changed for him after his big first half. Mostly it's swinging at pitches like that, 2-2.
Yeah, pitches. Yeah, he hit 327 in May, dropped down to 287 in June, 226 in July, and .069 now in August.
He says he's swinging at the pitches he should be hitting, fouling off some. He's not squaring them up, just not making good contact out there. And no contact here. He strikes out again. Hernandez, a big strikeout there to get Frazier 2 down, and down goes Frazier.
Down goes Frazier. Let's see what you did there. Nice tailing action on that fastball. Maybe didn't quite get back to the corner, but good frame job by Jared Saltalamacchia, and they get the strike 3 call.
Trying to strand that go-ahead run at second. 2 outs for Hamilton, who has doubled and singled. He's 2 for 3. To Jesus, the runner at second.
You know, at some point the light bulb is going to go on for Billy Hamilton and the Reds, and they're going to realize how important it is for him to hit the ball on the ground. Every at bat, pound that ball down on the ground.
This one is in the air. Pretty deep center field, but playable. And a tremendous job by the Diamondbacks bullpen. Chafin gets Barnhart. Hernandez gets Frazier and Hamilton. And they keep it a tie game. Cox, Gig Live, high-speed highlights. Good ball game going here in downtown Phoenix inside Chase Field. A look at our Gila River Casinos game summary. Patrick Corbin, very good until the 7th inning when the Reds open up with back-to-back doubles to tie the ball game. And so here we are, 3-3 bottom 7. And the new pitcher for the Reds on for Anthony DeSclafani, the hopper, Bert Badenhop, who has not given up a run since July 3rd. He's got a 13 1/3 scoreless inning streak going right now. That's among the top of the major leagues. Pitcher spot will lead it off for the Diamondbacks. Aaron Hill will hit for Hernandez.
The numbers for Badenhop this year. Badenhop, in case you did not know, in German means can't jump.
You've been reading the back of the baseball card again? That means he would not be able to play in the Bundesliga.
That's correct. Right you are.
You have no idea what that. No. Of course, it's the
sounded good.
Top German soccer league.
Okay, that explains it.
That's where Sebastian Schweinsteiger used to play.
Big fan of Sebastian.
Schweinsteiger just went to Manchester United. I don't have to tell you that. Aaron Hill will lead it off. 213 and 4 homers. Got a couple of singles in the series so far.
I didn't even see a soccer ball till I went to college. I mean, this was obviously years ago, but yeah, we didn't have soccer growing up in Coshocton, Ohio.
I find that very easy to believe.
Yeah.
Football country. Well, Todd Walsh had mentioned Kyle Rowe Jr. on Battle of the Network Stars and the Superstars. Remember the Superstars?
Yeah.
They used to have on ABC Sports, and Kyle Rowe Jr. played for the New York Cosmos back then, and he was the first, this was late 70s, he was the first soccer player that anybody in this country almost really knew about that was an American, other than Pele, of course. But now, get kids playing soccer leagues, got moms and minivans and the whole thing, soccer moms.
Yellow cards and red cards.
You don't want the red card. That's automatic. 2-2. I think as commissioner in the alumni game, that might be something you could introduce. You could give guys a yellow card and a red card.
You might not have enough players to finish the game.
Of course, if you get the red card, it's automatic suspension for the next game. So that could be problematic. Doc Rosenblatt, let's check the instincts on Doc. That one's cut off. Gracie. Team Gracie, he'll hit third against Team Gonzo, also hitting third. They're officially known as the red and the white team, but Gonzo's team in red and Gracie in white. 2-2 on Aaron Hill. Nice to get a base runner here to start off this inning with the top of the order coming up.
And no left-handed options available to Chip Hale today off the bench. All right-handed bats. Hill, Hernandez, Romack, Tomas, and Castillo.
There you go. Great start for Aaron Hill. He leads it off with a base hit. Go-ahead runs aboard for Ender Inciarte. Aaron now 7 for 23 this year as a pinch hitter.
With his swing designed to pull the ball to the left side of the field, and Badenhop's nasty sinker tailing down and in, it was inevitable he was going to hit a ball to the left side of the field right there, and found that hole.
Well, we've had games where the top of the order recently hadn't done a whole lot, the 1 through 4 guys, but boy, this afternoon, Inciarte 1 for 3, Pollock 1 for 3 with a run scored, Goldie 3 for 3, 2 doubles, Peralta 3 for 3 with an RBI double. And those are all the guys coming up. Inciarte gets it down. And Votto, quick throw to Phillips, who covers. They just do get Ender at first. And Aaron Hill moves up 90 feet. I think Ender thinks he beat that out.
Center field.
Hey, Votto and Phillips on that right side of the infield. They do some funny things. It looked like Brandon was able to slide the outside of his foot up against the bag there and get the ball.
Sacrifice 3-4 there.
Well, they throw off balance. You see Brandon Phillips will throw from his knees. He'll flip balls behind his back. Votto with kind of a fadeaway toss back to the base that time. More often than not, they're right on the money. But boy, as a manager, that makes you hold your breath.
So here you go. Go ahead run at second, 1 out. A.J. Pollock up and Goldie behind him. A.J. singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 3. 2-0.
You can see that movement on the sinker from Badenhop. Throws it off the plate away. He's getting some barking from that Reds dugout. They thought that should have been a called strike. Does have a lot of movement. You cannot afford to quit on those pitches away. Watch how much this ball comes back. Still didn't get to the corner, but a lot of late movement.
Big Carapaz, the plate umpire, walked over, called timeout, and started yelling back at the Reds dugout. Enough is enough, he said. Late time granted now. That's from Tucker Barnhart, the catcher. Big spot in the ball game right here. Barnhart had a pretty good idea what he wanted to do there, and it worked.
2-0 slider to A.J. Pollock. We talk about it all the time, the ability to throw anything other than a fastball. When you're behind in the count, you can get some funny looking swings even in those 2-0, 3-1 counts.
3-1 count right here. Goldie on deck. First base. It's Adam Homari down there. 2 outs. They can't move the runner along.
First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
Here's Goldie, 3 for 3.
Closer than it should have been. That was a routine ground ball to short, and A.J. very nearly beat it out.
He did what you talked about the other day that Bobby Bonds said, leaning forward as you extend that leg instead of backward.
Just like a sprinter in the Olympics going for that tape at the finish line, you lean your upper body forward. It gives the umpire the illusion that you get to that bag a little quicker than you really do.
Goldie, 2 doubles and a single, an RBI and a run scored. Late time granted again back there.
The more of your body you can put over that base when the throw gets there, the more likely that first base umpire is to figure, well, geez, his whole upper body was over the bag. He must have been safe.
It's a tricky spot for the Reds. Obviously, you don't want to pitch to Goldie if you don't have to with this situation. He's 3 for 3. They have first base open, but behind him, you've got Peralta, who's also 3 for 3, and a left-hand hitter. So we'll see how Badenhop wants to play it here. That one sneaks through the back door for a strike. 1-1. Jay Bell and Brian Price.
The Reds have pitched to Goldie in this series. They maybe pitched around him a little bit, but most teams just choose to intentionally walk Goldie and take their chances with David Peralta or whichever D-back happens to be in that 4 spot. Certainly part of the reason can be the fact that David Peralta's 10 for his last 19 with runners in scoring position.
1-1. That's in there for a strike. 1-2. Just caught the corner, says Vic Carapaz.
Tough pitch right there. It catches the lower corner of the strike zone there, but that's not a pitch that a hitter can do much with right there. Throws a slider right in the same slot.
Moving in different directions.
Going away that time for Goldie.
First pitch broke in toward Goldie. The second one away from him.
It starts in the same spot as that sinker that was a called strike, but moves down and away. Goldie just able to get a piece of it.
1-2. Warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Aaron Hill hit for Hernandez to lead off again. So it looks like Huddy will get the 8th. Go ahead run at second base. 2 outs, 2-2 on Paul Goldschmidt. Called strike 3. You can see that 7 down there just off the corner. Tough for Goldie to offer it that way. So they strand the leadoff single. One more look. Strike 3, says Vic Carapazza. 3-3 as we go to the 8th.
Each special event ticket pack includes a ticket to the D-backs A's game, a D-backs hat, and a keepsake photo. Buy tickets now online at dbacks.com/events.
Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. Nicely done. 3-3, 8th inning. Good ball game going here. In the rubber game of the 3-game series, Reds and Diamondbacks, Daniel Hudson will work the 8th inning Friday night here. Got 3 outs on 9 pitches. Will face Phillips, Votto, and Bird in the Cincinnati 8th. Brandon Phillips 0 for 3. Hudson faced him Friday night, got him to ground out to first. '97 is in there for strike 1. Brandon Phillips, originally drafted by the Montreal Expos in 1999. Not too many Expos still out there kicking it. Saw Ian Desmond in our last trip at Washington. But Phillips drafted by the Expos. He was traded. How about this for a deal? Brandon Phillips, Cliff Lee, and Grady Sizemore to Cleveland. Nice package in 2002 that the Indians got there. Didn't play much in Cleveland. Was sent to the Reds for a player to be named in April of 2006. That deal worked out nicely for Cincinnati. Guy's won 4 Gold Gloves. He's been to 3 All-Star games. 0-2. They've got a base hit to lead off the 8th.
Catches a little bit too much plate with that 0-2 fastball at 96. Phillips able to fight it off into center field for a leadoff hit.
Now Hudson will deal with Joey Votto. Votto walked and scored in the 4th. He's 0 for 2. Votto still with just 1 hit in the series. He doubled in his first at bat Friday night. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks, and there's strike 1. There goes Brandon Phillips. Here's the throw from Salty. Not in time. Phillips has his 17th stolen base. He's been running a whole lot more this year. And he picks up a big 90 feet.
He did a Dave McKay right there. Kind of took his step towards second base, stopped quickly, and then continued on his route to second base. Had such a big jump, he thought about stopping, but clearly gets in under the tag with the head first slide.
He's the go-ahead run. 0-2 on Votto.
Reds' first stolen base in this series. We mentioned a little while ago they came in with a 5 stolen base lead over the Diamondbacks for the National League lead. That's the first one they've nabbed in this series.
And it wasn't Billy Hamilton.
Yeah, how about that?
1-2 pitch headed toward the left field corner, and it's in the seats.
See Joey Votto, much like Paul Goldschmidt, the 3-hitter for the Diamondbacks. He'll choke up on the bat in a 2-strike count. Get up off that knob of the bat, give himself a little better bat control. He widens out his stance a little bit more so he doesn't get fooled on those 2-strike pitches.
Brian Price has said, and we've talked about how Votto has been on this tremendous run lately since the All-Star break. Price says that his ability to fight off really tough 2-strike pitches is one of the things that's been a catalyst for Votto here in the second half. It's just really tough to get him out. 2-2 now. He's been more patient today than he was in the first 2 games, it seems like. We saw him be very aggressive early in counts Friday and Saturday. He's worked at full 3-2. Marlon Byrd on deck. to go. A lot of patience up there for Votto. Fouling off some 2-strike pitches. Taking anything close that's not a strike. 3-2 pitch. To the right side. Summers has it. Phillips at third. One away.
Get some high fives from his teammates. Good battling at bat once again by Joey Votto. Had some good swings earlier in the at bat. And then got to the 2-strike count and pulled that ball to the right side to move Phillips up to third base and set it up here for Marlon Byrd.
Now the infield will come in for the Diamondbacks with Phillips the go-ahead run at third. 1 out. Marlon Byrd homering last night against David Hernandez. Mike Harkey to the mound. Hudson, when he pitched in the series opener Friday, got his 3 outs on 9 pitches. He's already thrown 11 here in this outing. Trying to figure out a way to strand that runner at third. Brandon Phillips with Larry Vanover, the crew chief down there. So here's Byrd, an RBI single in the 4th, 1 for 3. Infield in. There's that strike call. Down and away to the right-hand hitter. That was a strike when Goldie was up there, and it's a strike for Byrd as well.
But there was a time Marlon Byrd weighed over 300 pounds. Suffered a serious leg injury when he was going to school at Georgia Tech and missed a lot of time. And being young in college, a lot of downtime, he discovered the snacks. Really put on a lot of weight.
He ate his way out of Georgia Tech, an excellent baseball program. Finished up at Georgia Perimeter College. Up and in at 96 misses. But he's behind here 3-1. Now you should see him work out. He's a fitness maniac. He can't do a whole lot of running because of his knee. So for cardio, he's got all kinds of crazy things going with kettlebells and something called a Bulgarian bag that he swings around his head with a trainer. That's a foul ball. He actually posts videos of his workouts on Instagram. He's got a personal sprinting coach. He's got a Thai kickboxing instructor. He's got a Bulgarian bag coach. He's got a kettlebell instructor. Flexibility, strength, cardio. And it's working because he's still a very good hitter. Turns 38 later this month. 3-2 pitch. All 4. Being careful with Byrd there. Didn't really get a whole lot to hit. And we've seen that Jay Bruce, despite a single in the first inning, you can get him out. And so they're on the corners with 1 away, and Bruce will be the hitter.
But he's had his way with Jay Bruce over the course of their respective careers. Only 1 for 10 with a couple of punch outs as Jay Bruce against Daniel Hudson.
Brandon Phillips is the go-ahead run at third. Marlon Byrd at first, one away, and here's Bruce. Noah Berlin, ladies and gentlemen. Diamondback staffer right there. There's Noah. Quick hands.
Yeah. Give yourself a contract, Noah.
0-1. Just missed at 97. It's a ball and a strike.
You may have missed right there just low, but that's a great spot for what you're looking for in this situation, a ground ball.
Chuck Drago apparently awarding the contract. Rob is not going to step in. Oh, maybe he will step in. Nope. Nullified. That's why you pitched Jay Bruce right there. One and two. Bruce right now 1 for his last 20 at the plate. He's already struck out 5 times in the series. Two balls and 2 strikes. Josh Colmenter warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. And Hudson now over 20 pitches. Two and two. Got him. Marlon Byrd will sneak up and take second. So second and third, 2 outs now, and the hitter will be the shortstop, Eugenio Suarez.
Good movement on that change up down below the bottom of the strike zone. You see that circle change grip. Daniel turns it a little bit to get that sinking tailing action. Bruce way out in front once again.
Stolen base for Marlon Byrd is second of the year. So it's Phillips at third, Byrd at second. 3-3 ball game, 2 outs, and Suarez, who doubled and scored his last time up, steps in. Good start for Heidi. 97 away and strike 1. Suarez has opened up the month of August with an 8-game hitting streak. He's at .307 on the year. He homered here last night. Got 5 doubles during that 8-game hitting streak. Just missed that time, and it's 1-1. Two. How do you strike away from walking the high wire here? Two on, 2 out, a ball and 2 strikes. Right back to the mound off the heel of the glove. He's got plenty of time to recover, and Daniel Hudson strands 2 big runners at second and third and keeps it a tie ball game. Diamondbacks and Reds, the rubber game of the 3-game set. And this is how the Diamondbacks wound up taking the lead with 4 hits in the 5th inning. They had a Goldie single. He scored a run. Peralta doubled. Then Salty the RBI single. Reds came back to tie it in the 7th on back-to-back doubles. And now here in the bottom of the 8th, the new pitcher for Cincinnati, the left-hander Manny Parra. We saw him in the series opener here Friday night. And he came on to face Peralta, Castillo, and Lamb. And Peralta here will lead off the 8th. And Saltalamacchia, the catcher, is behind him. Castillo homered off Parra here Friday night. So no sign of Wellington with Saltalamacchia in the on-deck circle. Peralta 3 for 3, the RBI double his last time up. David has 3 RBIs in the series. For Peralta, hustling all the way. Go ahead, runs aboard to lead off the 8th. Bob, it's become virtually a non-issue at this point. David Peralta versus left-hand pitchers.
Yeah, that stretch of the season when Ender and Ciarte spent some time on the disabled list and David was forced to face left-handed starters. He has really blossomed since then. He hangs in. Righties, lefties seems to make no difference to him right now.
And David's got himself a 4 for 4 here today. He is the go-ahead run, and here's Saltalamacchia, who will bat right-handed against the lefty Parra. Second time this year that David Peralta has had a 4-hit game. That's his career high. Also did it May 7th against the Padres. So let's go ahead and award David Peralta, our Arizona Federal Credit Union Power Player of the Game. 4 for 4. 3 singles, a double, an RBI. He scored a run. 0-2 on Salty. Salty is much better left-handed than right-handed. This may have been an opportunity to have Wellington Castillo, who homered off Parra here Friday, take the at-bat. But Salty's been a good run producer lately. Had an RBI single his last time up. But he's down 0-2. Skies this one to shallow center. Hamilton.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game. Actually 20 kiosks.
Well, the Diamondbacks in the 7th got the go-ahead run aboard to lead off the inning. Aaron Hill, a pinch hit single. And now it's the same in the 8th inning. Peralta a single to lead it off, but he's at first, still 1 out. Jake Lamb, he's 0 for 3.
Every time we get a base runner on, we refer to Dave McKay and his ability to read the opposing pitcher's pickoff move and his delivery to home plate. And Dave McKay, from all his time in St. Louis with Tony La Russa, probably seen a lot of Manny Parra when he was pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. So I imagine he's got a pretty good feel for the Reds left-hander.
Peralta 5 for 7 in his stolen base attempts. Saw Brandon Phillips after he led off the top of this inning with a single. Take off and steal second. Wound up stranded at third. Looks like they're thinking right along with you, BB. You're going to keep him close over there.
A tie ball game against a club that likes to aggressively steal bases. You have to think about that if you're Brian Price and Manny Parr out there on the mound.
Peralta holds. That one misses inside. 1-0. Jake Lamb over his last 14 games, 356. The bat has really come around here. 6 extra base hits, 7 RBIs his last 14 games. Shoots that the other way, right to Doc Rosenblatt. Doc was ready. His range is not quite what it used to be. 1-1 on Lamb. Parr almost threw that away. Barnhart has really been good back there in this series.
I know you would agree with me, partner. You'd like to see one in the gap or down the lines here to watch the runaway freight train on the bases.
One of my favorite things about Diamondback games is David Peralta standing on first when somebody hits one in the gap. And that freight train, that diesel gets all cranked up. Three and two now. And one guy on the Twitter compared David Peralta running the bases to John Riggins, the old Redskins fullback, which I thought was a good call. When they'd run 60 gut and 40 forward, run right behind Russ Grimm on the Hogs and just run wild. Peralta kind of looks like Riggins running through some linebackers and into the secondary.
You can see him dragging some defensive backs around the bases with him.
3-2 pitch. Peralta holds and Lamb drives it to center. Base hit. 2 on, 1 out.
A real nice battling at bats by left-handed hitters against Manny Parr here in this inning. The leadoff hit by Peralta, and now a 1-out hit into center field by Jake Lamb. Middle of the plate fastball, just trying to put it in play hard somewhere. A little soft line drive into center field, puts D-backs at first and second with 1 out.
Jake's second hit in the series, a chance for Chris Owings now, who's 0 for 3. And 0 for 7 in the series. Peralta at second and Lamb at first. CO, you'll recall, hit an absolute rocket in the 4th inning right at third baseman Avanda Jesus. Drives it the other way, but right at Bruce this time. Backs him up. Peralta will tag and head for third. Well, that's 2 balls that CO has hit right on the screws here today. And he's got the 0 for 4. So it'll take a 2-out hit from Nick Ahmed. Brian Price going to make a move here. 3-3 ball game, 2 outs, 8th inning. Diamondbacks have a threat, runners on the corners. And the Reds will go to their bullpen. Big J.J. Hoover, the right-hander, coming in back after this.
think the alumni starting to get those butterflies going a little bit. The uniforms hanging in the locker. Starting to think about that first at bat of the ball game. Morgan making his way into the house, greeting everybody just like he used to when he was a player.
Well, the good news is that if this game runs long and those guys start to get a little sleepy, Reggie Sanders' cologne will keep them all right on the edge of their seats. Big spot here for the Diamondbacks. They're on the corners. Tie ball game, 8th inning, 2 outs. You got Peralta at third and Lamb at first. And here's J.J. Hoover. Hoover pitched last night, worked 1 inning. Had a walk and 3 outs. A 2.01 ERA in 50 appearances. 2 on, 2 out for Ahmed. Nick singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. Pitcher spot is due up next. Yasmani Tomas standing in the on-deck circle. He had a tough AB last night against Chapman. 101, 101, 102. Easy fly ball to right for Bruce. Once again, the Diamondbacks have the go-ahead run aboard and cannot score. So we go to the 9th. It's still 3-3.
Here reminding you to stay tuned to Fox Sports Arizona immediately following the game for Diamondbacks Live, where we'll bring you a special post-game. Not only will we be talking about the current stars who hopefully find a way to get the W, but we'll also open the door for your former favorites to shine today as we tee you up for today's alumni game. We'll talk to both player managers, Gonzo and Gracie. Plus, it's the only place you'll find the live introductions for this alumni game. Stay with us for Diamondbacks Live. And now, speaking of some favorites, guys, take it away.
All right, Kate, thanks. 9th inning. Here's a favorite, Brad Ziegler, that's for sure, using your closer in the 9th inning at home of a tie ball game.
Boy, and the Diamondbacks bullpen, including Brad Ziegler, has just been nails for the last couple of months of the season. You go back to June 5th. Diamondbacks rate 5th in all of baseball with a 2.81 reliever's ERA.
Brad, right there, 2.81. It's third best in the National League. Ivan De Jesus Jr., the third baseman, leads off the Reds' 9th. He'll have 7-8-9 due up against Brad. And De Jesus had a good day here, a single in the 3rd, an RBI double in the 7th. hit. Well, the thing about Brad, if we take another look at that with its funky delivery and the knee surgery, the microfracture surgery on that landing leg, he's in perfect position to field these every time.
And really, he should be. Anytime a guy relies so heavily on that sinking fastball, you're going to get a lot of ground balls, and a lot of them are going to come right back to you on the mound. So Brad, after that submarine delivery, is always squared up to home plate, ready to make a play.
I mean, that ball was fairly hard hit right to him, and it was no big deal. Tucker Barnhart. Barnhart 0 for 3. He had a pair of singles last night. Reds, of course, without their catcher Devin Mesoraco, season-ending hip surgery in June. An all-star last year. Yes, he went, Larry Vanover, 1-2. So Barnhart and Brian Pena have done all the catching ever since Mesoraco went down. Ooh. Diamondbacks might have caught a break there. Look out, the bat is over Brad's head. Talk about being in a good fielding position. That thing was coming right out of his head.
He's ready for any piece of equipment that may come his direction. Started to chase the ball to the right side of the infield and then decided just to stop right where he was and avoid that helicopter.
Well, the ball went nowhere. The bat is out to second base. Yikes. One and two. This guy's a nice piece to have, especially with a young pitching staff. Jumbo Diaz and Aroldis Chapman, the righty and the lefty, warming up. Barnhart has been a minor league Gold Glover. He's a switch hitter. And he's worked with most of these young pitchers they have coming up. And he's hit a little bit this year. Just a bouncer right to CO. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, partner, we've heard that argument from closers that it's tough to get the adrenaline necessary to pitch in a non-save situation. That's why so many times that closer will come into a tie game or come in the 8th inning and give it up. That's not the case for Brad Ziegler. He's had almost the same amount of innings in save situations as non-save situations. His ERA in save situations is 152. In non-save situations, it's 182.
Here's the pinch hitter extraordinaire Skip Schumacher, who looks at strike one. You think that's because Brad spent most of his career as a setup guy, quote unquote?
Yeah, just give him the ball. Doesn't matter what inning it is. His job is to get guys out and keep them off that plate.
And this is what he does. 3 easy ground ball outs for Brad Ziegler. Bottom 9 coming up. Pitcher spot in Ciarte Pollock. It's 3-3. Live on Fox Sports 1 for complete highlights and analysis of everything baseball, plus the latest from the National Football League. Fox Sports Live tonight. Fox Sports 1, the whole thing, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. As we go to the home half of the ninth, and here comes Big Jumbo Diaz.
We saw Jumbo in the ball game last night in relief of Shiva Sampson. Just a 7th inning, 1-2-3, did strike out about it.
Well, it was funny. Jumbo kind of pulled a Lee Arthur Smith back there. It took him a while to come out of that bullpen. He snuck in a few extra warm-ups and took his sweet time coming out of the gate there, and so he's a little behind. That clock is ticking, though.
You know, I think maybe the Reds didn't quite know who was going to come into the ball game. Diaz was warming up alongside Aroldis Chapman, and they both just stood down there on the bullpen mound after the last out of the inning was made, waiting to see who was going to come into the ball game. And by the time Brian Price decided, Jumbo squeezed in a couple of extra warm-up pitches and got out to the game mound a little bit late.
And the Diamondbacks did not send a hit around into the on-deck circle either. But it'll be Yasmani Tomas here to lead off the home half of the ninth. Tomas, 297 and 6 homers. He struck out against Aroldis Chapman as a pinch hitter in the ninth inning last night. And the strikeouts have been an issue lately for Yasmani. The natural. So Tomas, Inciarte, Pollock 9-1-2, 3-3 bottom 9. He swings at the first pitch and hits it right to Suarez. One pitch, 1 out.
Pitch, 1 out. I look for Ender Inciarte to show bunt here on the first pitch. I would assume he's going to take until he gets a strike just to try to extend Jumbo Diaz a little bit here. And a lot of times when Ender's going to take the first pitch of the at-bat, he likes to show bunt, try to draw those corner infielders in a little bit more.
DeJesus sneaking in a bit at third. He's still on the dirt down there. Ender singled in the 5th. The sacrifices last time up. He's 1 for 3. 4 hits in the series.
Not this time.
Keep those feet moving. It's coming in at 96. Ender has now hit safely in 7 straight games. DeJesus still on the dirt at third base. It's 2-0. I'm just going to take a wild guess and think that Jumbo Diaz is not great at fielding his position. So maybe if you can get it by the mound on the third base side, you have a chance to bunt for a base hit. Instead, he swings away and hits a fly ball to short left. Here comes Bird. 2 down. A.J. Pollock now. A.J. singled, stole a base, and scored a run back in the first. He's 1 for 4. Quick 1-2-3 ninth for Jumbo Diaz, and we go to extras on Alumni Day at Chase Field. Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Feed it. 10th inning of chase, and the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks is the right-hander Josh Colemanter. 3-3 ball game. Reds will have the top of the order up. Billy Hamilton, Brandon Phillips, and Joey Votto. D-backs have had their chances here. A leadoff single in the 7th. They are 2 on, 1 out in the 8th. But could not get a run across. So here we are, 3-3, 10th inning.
Well, it goes without saying, this is a big first out in a tie ball game, extra innings. Retire Billy Hamilton, keep that speed off the bases.
Goldie well in. Got an angle at first. Lamb on the grass at third. And Hamilton chose bunt, takes a strike. Hamilton doubled and scored in the 4th. He singled in the 5th, 2 for 4. Josh ahead 0-2. Good start. Exactly what you're looking for. Keep them off the bases. 1 down to start the 10th.
Second baseman, Brandon Phillips.
Good fading changeup down low and away from Hamilton. You see that claw-like grip on the Josh Colemanter change.
Brandon Phillips now. Phillips singled to lead off the 8th. He was stranded at third. He's 1 for 4. And a pair of hits last night, including a home run off Robbie Ray. Takes a strike. Phillips hot lately. Last 20 games hitting over .330, including 3 home runs. Diamondbacks in the bottom of the 10th will have Goldie leading off. He's 3 for 4. And then David Peralta, who's 4 for 4. But first, Josh Colemanter has to navigate the top of the Cincinnati order. Votto on deck.
Looking at the Reds media guide, I had forgotten that Brandon Phillips had a 30-homer season back in '07. He was actually a 30-30 player that year. Hit 30 homers, stole 32 bases. Power numbers have gone down pretty much every year. He had 4 consecutive seasons of 18 homers before dropping off to 8 last year.
Well, he earned big money. They paid Votto first. They gave Votto $225 million when Hamilton was still looking for his long-term deal. And there was a little bit of a kerfuffle about that, a word I almost never use. But he finally got his contract. He got $72 million, Brandon Phillips. And he's got 2 more years and another $27 million left on that deal. He'll be 35 next year. Shoots it the other way. Goldie. He's done that all day long. Goldie ranging toward the second base bag. That's got to be the 3rd or 4th play just like that he's made today.
amazing thing about these plays by Goldie. Every feed, even on this one, when he's got to throw overhand, leads that pitcher perfectly to the base. Chest high, firm throw, allowing that pitcher to get over there and find the base in time to retire the batter.
And now defensively, the Diamondbacks go into the shift against Votto with Lamb, the third baseman, in front of second base umpire Brian Knight. And Owens out in right field. Votto 0 for 3 with Milwaukee has scored a run today. He's still got just one hit in the series, his double on Friday. Funny, you're going to get to a point in Votto's career where you're going to say the same thing you just said about Brandon Phillips. I forgot he used to be a 30 home run guy.
Yeah.
It's all about the walks and the OBP. Over one more time. Josh Comenter is there. Good job by Josh to get the top of the Reds order and keep it tied. Coming up at the bottom of the 10th, Goldie, Peralta, and Solte for the Diamondbacks on this Alumni Day. It's usually coincidence. Now it is coincidental, not ironic, that 2 years ago on this date, guess who hit a walk-off home run? August 9th.
Goldie?
You got it.
Opposite field blast against the Mets to walk it off.
And coincidentally, he will lead it off here in the home half of the 10th. One of those would do nicely right about now.
Yeah.
New pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Their sixth pitcher of the ball game. It's Ryan Matthews. And we saw him pitch in the opener on Friday. Worked one inning, gave up 2 hits and a strikeout. So Goldie, Peralta, Solte in the Arizona 10th. Goldie's had a big day. 3 for 4. 2 doubles and RBI. He scored a run. Ball 1.
I think somebody ought to send word to the alumni guys to get ready quickly. This is going to end fast.
You are the commissioner. You have the power. I would like you as commissioner to do one thing for me. Make sure that all the baseballs to be used in the alumni game are inflated to the proper PSI. Because that's been an issue lately with Tommy Brady.
Yeah, Tommy.
Who, as we all know, is innocent. 2-0. I'd hate to see happen to you what's happened to Roger Goodell.
The first rule of alumni game is that there are no rules.
It's chaos.
It is chaos.
3-0 to Goldie. That's the high strike call.
Throw another one up there.
That's a great reaction from Chip.
Probably was a strike. It's just so rarely called that you assume it's out of the zone up.
And that corner down and away again, and it's full 3-2. Ball 4. Winning runs aboard. Well, the Diamondbacks have had the leadoff man on now in the 7th, the 8th, and the 10th. And they're still trying to scratch that run across. Here's Peralta, who's 4 for 4. How do you want to play this?
I think as hot as David Peralta is at the plate right now, you got to let him swing the bat. And once again, Dave McKay may have something on Ryan Matthews out there on the mound. We know Goldie can steal a base.
Peralta 4 for 4, 6 for 10 in the series. He's got 3 RBIs. Base hit. He bangs it into right. 2 on, nobody out. David Peralta 5 for 5. That's just the 19th 5-hit game in D-backs history.
The way he's swinging the bat today, you get the feeling if we played all night, he'd get a hit every time up to the plate. He has squared the ball every time up.
Maybe you should try as commissioner to sneak him into the alumni game. Get him a few more ABs. A chance for Salty here. Votto in on the grass at first. To Jesus angling the bag at third. Salty had an RBI single in the 5th. He has struck out twice, 1 for 4. A new career high for David, 5 for 5. The bunt down. They have 1 play. Matthews took a look, and he had no chance to get Goldie at third. And the Diamondbacks have the winning run 90 feet away with 1 out.
Nice going, Jared Saltalamacchia. One of the toughest things to do in this game is put down a successful sac bunt when everybody in the ballpark knows that's what you're trying to do. You get it back to the mound a little bit that time, but by the time Matthews is able to recover, he has no play at third, no play at second, and barely has a play at first in time to get Saltalamacchia.
Well, with the lefty Lamb up there, first base open, they're going to put him on and work to Owings, and this will load the bases. Stay on your toes down there. Matthews tried to throw it away twice. Alumni standing by. Team Red, the Gonzo team. Team White, the Gracie team. Armando Reynoso will get the start. And there they are. Stand by, you guys, because we're going to win this thing right here. Chris Owings 0 for 4 and 0 for 8 in the series. He has never had a walk-off hit. Goldie is the winning run at third. David Peralta in the sunshine at second, and Jake Lamb at first.
Corners in for the Reds. Middle defenders playing at double play depth.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Ball 1. Try to keep this trend going. Diamondbacks looking for what would be their 4th walk-off win this year.